The first question for the two of you comes from a guest, and they're asking about the keto diet. What does the evidence say on the keto diet versus depression and mania?
Unfortunately, this is something that's been very, very heavily promoted, particularly in North America, we find, by some practitioners, psychiatrists, psychologists, medical doctors. There's a couple of case reports published, but what people fail to understand, and this is a really important point, I think, because someone is a medical doctor does not mean that they have training in nutrition. We know that generally they have about 2 hours of training through their whole course. Nor does it mean that they understand research evidence or how to evaluate it. So there's been a couple of case studies of people who had a ketogenic diet, but when you switch to a ketogenic diet, you're potentially removing things like donuts and lots of sugar and sweetened beverages and things like that. So what I would say is just very basically, there's no evidence at this stage that a ketogenic diet is helpful for any mental disorder. There's abundant evidence for that a diet that is high in fiber, which is what you get in plant food. So when you're eating vegetables, starchy vegetables, whole grain cereals, legumes and things, that's where you get the dietary fiber that feeds your gut bacteria. Abundant evidence that this results in better mental health and better depression. No evidence for a ketogenic diet. And if you were to move to a very Atkins style, high saturated fat animal foods diet, that would be going 100% against every bit of evidence that we have, both established and emerging around the gut microbiota. That's not to say that ketosis itself might not be a strategy for particular very severe types of mental illnesses. And we're doing, trying to pilot a healthful ketogenic diet, one that focuses on, more plant foods and fish and monounsaturated fats in people with schizophrenia to see if it's helpful. But what we would say also is that it's a very difficult diet to maintain. It's very expensive. It's very bad for the planet if you choose the animal version. And every bit of evidence suggests that it's not good for us. And when people say carbs, they don't understand that carbs is not a thing. You have donuts and sweets and ice creams and things like that. That's refined carbohydrates. But then you have all of those plant foods. They're complex carbohydrates. You can't lump them in together.